What's up, YouTube? It's Biblical Truther. Just want to bring this to you guys tonight. My wife has set up a Discord group. If any of you guys want to join in, have somewhere to chit-chat with people. And my wife's been doing a lot of in-depth studies on certain things, different things that she'll probably be posting links in that group for any of you if you want to check it out. I want to play for you a little recording I did, just going over something that we thought was kind of odd when Sidney Powell, whatever her name is, Trump's attorney, said on national TV how they were fixing to release the Kraken.
Election, but then to overthrow his presidency. This looks like the effort to carry out an end game in the effort against him. Do you concur?
Oh, absolutely, and it's been organized and conducted with the help of Silicon Valley people, the big tech companies, the social media companies, and even the media companies. And I'm going to release the Kraken.
So here's just a little something that we found on Kraken. It is actually a software that deals with genome biology. As you can see, it's an ultra-fast metagenomic sequence classification using exact alignments. And I'm no biologist, I'm no scientist, but this thing can do some pretty incredible things. Just reading through some of this stuff, and they have done some very in-depth studies into the human genome. And I know last Friday we seen Trump's attorney, forget her name now, Sidney Powell, had said in one of her interviews that they were going to release the Kraken. We also remember back when COVID first started, they were talking about how it can target specific minorities or majority people groups and such. And it's pretty crazy. Let's see right here. It says in projects that have studied environments as varied as seawater, acidic mine drainage, and the human body. And then we pick on the little 3. It brings you down to the bottom of the whole article, and then we can click on this article right here, number 3. I'm getting a little outside of New Orleans now, so it's taking a little minute to load, but this is crazy, man. Structure, function, and diversity of the healthy human microbiome. And it gets into some very in-depth studies that they did on 300 people, no less. You know, as in like the Bible with the 300-man army. It's pretty crazy, led by Gideon, I think it was. But yeah, man. If you know anybody who's a biologist, scientist, or doctor that can read into this stuff and do a little bit more explanation of it, they get pretty in depth. Sorry about that. A little in depth, and where they took samples and how this Kraken thing can sequence DNA alignments. And we're seeing here just recently about Operation Warp Speed and Tiberius. Tiberius is another name from the Bible that's not associated with a very good person. He was one of the Caesars back in the day of Jesus, I believe, and he's talked about a couple times in the Bible. But anyway, just showing how they're using some of this stuff to do something with this vax, man. I think it's all tied together with that. My wife had did some research and found all this because after the lady had talked about releasing the Kraken, she's seen a post from a barbecue person, you know, oh yes, Kraken, wink wink. So she did a little searching into the word Kraken and barbecue, if you get my drift. And this is what she found. So we know that these vaccines for this COVID-19 has to do with RNA. And this particular software can analyze like 4.1 million different sequences in 1 minute, which is vastly superior to the next program capable of doing this type of work. So what exactly are they using this stuff for, man? Maybe somebody smarter than I am could do a little digging and find out, because they go into some pretty detailed studies, and all I can see from reading all this, mostly gibberish to me, is biowarfare. And it just so happens that this Kraken software was invented right after 9/11 back in 2001. Just so happens to be around the same time that the inception of Homeland Security was brought about. And we pretty much know that that's when the world changed that day. We've been in a downward spiral ever since. So I do believe the beast was released, and it's been a concerted effort ever since then to release as many of them into this world as possible. But just go look this up, man. I'll put the link in the description, and maybe somebody out there who's capable of reading all this, or even paraphrasing it for us laymen's, can maybe shine some light on what this thing really does. But as I can tell, in a nutshell, it is basically DNA, RNA sequencing to target specific, possibly ethnicities, if not a certain type of people group based on their environment. So if they wanted to release some type of weapon during this dark winter, and say they only wanted to affect, say where I'm at in the South, we have a pretty unique, I guess, wilderness down here as far as being a swamp type area. So I imagine certain people that are used to certain things from up north couldn't too much survive here. A lot of people have a hard time dealing with salt water that aren't from the coast. I mean, these are all differences in the body that these things have been isolated and probably weaponized just by the way this world's going and the things that are being released on a daily basis. So just by possibly the environment that you live in, they can target a specific people group. It's just kind of scary, man. Kind of scary how in depth this stuff goes. So I'm not going to sit here and begin to tell you that I understand all the stuff that was in there. And maybe one of you guys know someone who can. But I wanted to leave a little update on some things that we're seeing around my house in Mississippi. For instance, our health department has been replaced by military people, and my wife tried to get some video, but I can't, for some reason I can't get the video from her phone to my phone clear enough for me to be able to show it. But I want to try and get some video of these people in there. And at our particular health department, it's the health department and the WIC office. And WIC is for, I guess, underprivileged women who are pregnant and need a little assistance and stuff like formula and general care for their baby if they, a single mother or whatever, end up being a single mother or something like that. So my wife's grandma works at the WIC office, and she was planning on retiring this January. So my wife goes, she had to do something at the health department, and finds a huge army guy, buzz cut, the whole nine, scrubs about ripping off his arms. And they had some military guys by a military truck sitting in the back of the parking lot, and there were two guys in scrubs and face masks and the little face shields in the parking lot. They kind of got like a little turnaround in front of the health department, and there was a few cars in the parking lot. And my wife said she was there for a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes or so, and these cars would circle around through the little turnaround where these testing people were doing COVID testing, and they would pull off and park right back in the parking lot. And she said every so often the same cars would pull out of the parking lot, pull right back through the line, and they were acting like they were getting tested. I guess for anybody who was passing by would see this, military vehicles, military fatigued soldiers, and these people out there with these big fluffy scrubs on, sticking swabs up people's noses. But another funny thing about that Kraken deal is a lot of the specimens that they test and sequence comes off of PCR testing. I'm gonna try and get some of the stuff my wife has screenshots of and see if I can't find that so I can put together a little more lengthy video. But she's found people like Dr. Fauci involved in these things. It's sad, really, the state of affairs that we're fixing to be in, but I just want you guys to be ready. But she said she went into the WIC office after she was at the health department. She wanted to go speak with her grandmother to see what was going on, what's up with all the military people. Why have they replaced all the staff at the health department? And she finds that the entire staff at the WIC office has also been replaced. So I guess her grandmother has been kind of forced into early retirement, and the lady that worked the counter and a couple other ladies that my wife knew that works there, they have now been replaced. She didn't say these were military personnel, but it's very possible. It's very possible that they were all military, but she said on the WIC side of the building, she didn't really see anyone resembling, military personnel. But the health department absolutely was. The guy working the counter was a big muscle-bound, buzz-cut, obvious military guy. So, and then the fake testing in the parking lot, it was just the same cars driving back through as people were passing by. It's kind of odd. Why would they be doing that? But something's getting ready to go down, man. My wife's got pictures of helicopters, Comanches, and what's that other helicopter? They usually got the big teeth on the side of it. Oh man, I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, they got big rockets and all mounted to the sides of them, with the little short wings on the side of these helicopters. And we've been seeing them a lot, basically flying the Mississippi-Louisiana border. And if memory serves correctly, that the FEMA regions, Mississippi and Louisiana, are in two separate FEMA regions. And it seems as though they are pulling military drills along the border behind our house. We probably live a mile and a half at most from the state line. It's straight through the woods, but it may be 2 miles. we're right there on the line, and we see these helicopters fully outfitted with missiles, and the mother, I don't even know what kind of guns they are. It's like almost looks like a honeycomb, where they shoot multiple, almost like grenades or something out of rocket propel grenades. But they have been definitely flying over my house, man, real close. We've seen Chinooks flying constantly, at least twice, 3 times a week. Some of them are alone. There's been times there have been up to 3 Chinooks. And we know that from her stepdad being a high up military ranking officer that he is, they do, and they have in the past, ran drills where they dropped off Navy SEALs in the middle of the swamp and had them basically hug the riverbank all the way back to Stennis Space Center, which is probably a good 15 to 20 miles through the swamp. So she also has video of another helicopter, and some people might not believe, but they have that cloaking technology. This one, no way she could have not seen this helicopter, but I watched the video and there was no helicopter to be seen, but it's absolutely close enough and loud enough that she should have saw it. There's no reason why she shouldn't have saw it. So I guess there's a possibility that it could have been back behind the tree line enough to where she didn't see it or notice it, but we see them all week long at my house, so we know what they look like when they're approaching. We know what they look like just about every stage of our property, what they sound like and how far away they are. This one was extremely close, yet you couldn't see it. So I just wanted to put this out there, man. Discord, I'm gonna put the link in the description, and if any of you guys want to post information, talk to each other, make some friends, do whatever, you know what I'm saying, whatever people do on Discord. I don't really know. I'm not technologically advanced whatsoever, so I'm sure she'll school me on it. But anyway, something's getting ready to go down, man. After the doctor warned my wife of that stuff, a week ago now, or however long it's been, these helicopters fully outfitted with military weapons are becoming way more frequent. So if they do section us off into these FEMA regions here in the near future, I would absolutely see that they would probably be patrolling those borders via helicopters or something. So they're definitely up to something. Just want everybody to be aware and keep an eye out, man. And get ready. Love you guys.
Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints,